Hey guys, this is Elias with Softfly, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to import metabox custom fields with an Excel file and WP all import. Now the first step is to get our file, of course, so I'm gonna choose to upload that from my computer. Alright, cool. So now that we have our file, I need to decide whether I want to create new items or I want to update existing ones, right? Now in this example, I don't have any restaurants here in this site, which is what we're gonna import, right? So I'm gonna choose new items, but you could use the existing items to create new items too. It's just a little bit different regarding how to target the products that are already in the site or not, right? You can read more about that in our site at wpimport.com. For now, let's just continue with our import, and we need to select the post type we want to import in this example. Now I have this restaurant's post type, so I'm going to choose that and click on the continue to step 2 button. Now this step 2 is a review step, right? So we need to check that WP import is detecting our file and our data correctly. Now WP import says we have 1200 nodes in this import file, right? So if we go here to Excel and then I select a column, you can see that Excel shows us here how many rows are populated, right? So we have 1201 minus, of course, the header row. That will mean 1200 different rows. So this is good. Now, these elements right here doesn't actually look like an Excel file. And the reason for that is because WP import is transforming this Excel file into an XML under the hood. Now, this will allow us to do several cool stuff. One of them is down here a little bit, the manage filtering options. Now these manage filtering options will use XPath to filter out the records we don't want. Now I'm going to show you how this works, right? I'm going to select an element from this pull down. I'm going to select state, right? And then I'm going to select a rule. I'm going to choose equals, and I'm going to type in here New York, right? So I'm going to add this rule, right here, state equals New York. In apply filters to XPath, you can see this XPath expression is generated, right? And we no longer have 1200 restaurants. Now we have 122. Now this means that those restaurants that are here within these 122 nodes are those restaurants that are located in the state of New York. Pretty cool, right? So you can add as many rules as you want. For example, you could add a rule that's for the cuisine element, and you're gonna say equals, I don't know, Italian, right? Cool. And if you add this rule, well, WP import will keep narrowing down the records you're gonna import. Now in this example, I believe we're good with the New York restaurants, so I'm gonna leave it like that and continue to step 3. Right, so here on step 3, we just need to drag and drop the values from this right panel right here into the import fields we want those values to go. For example, this is a title, right? So I'm going to drag and drop the name of those restaurants like so. Cool. Now, if I hit preview, you can see we have here our title. Now, let's drag and drop the description too, like so. Preview, and there we go. We have this restaurant, which is called Delight Diner, right? And we have here this description of that restaurant. Now, if I click here on this arrow, we will preview the next record and so on and so forth, right? Cool. So let's dismiss this and let's continue with the next section, which is the images one. Now, guys, I have here my featured image. I'm going to drag and drop that here, right? Because as you can see, this is located in an external server, which is not the same URL I'm using here. So I'm going to choose to download images hosted elsewhere. Now, if I had my images in my media library, I could use this option, or I could use this one if I had my images in this path, right? Now, guys, it's always a good idea to hit this preview and test button, right? So you can make sure WP import is able to access these images and download them to be used in your import, right? So let's click on the run test button. Okay, and WP import was able to download this image, so that's cool. Let's dismiss this. These settings, I'm going to leave them as they are, but you can hover on the question mark to know more about them. Now this first option right here will look through the media library when importing new images. And if WP import finds an image that already exists in our media library, well, it won't download that image, but it will use the one that exists already instead. So that's pretty neat, and that will prevent us from getting a bunch of duplicate images that will just clutter our website, right? So we're going to leave that as it is, and we're going to leave this setting to set the first image to be downloaded as the featured image. All right, now let's continue. We have here a gallery, but we're going to use that here in the metabox add-on. So let's get on with that, right? We're going to open this metabox add-on section, and I'm going to enable this restaurants info group field. So these are the different groups we have created with metabox, right? I'm going to show you right here how this looks when we're adding a restaurant manually. We have here our title, the description, the different taxonomies, right? And here we have some custom fields, right? So all of these are simple text, very straightforward. Now here in the details tab, we have the opening and closing time, which are time pickers. Now this opens since it's a date picker. This rating, it's a radio. And this radio, it's very cool because it has a value and a label. So this first element right here, you can see the label, it's 5 stars, but the actual value is 5, right? Same here with the menu. We have here this price range, and that's the same situation. We have here these $5 signs, but the value of this field is 5. This one is 4, 3, 2, and 1, right? Now, I want to show you later on why this is important, right? For now, let's just continue seeing this field. This is a checkbox one, select one. These are text. Here we have our gallery, which is not a gallery field per se. It's called image advanced because Metabox doesn't actually have a gallery field, but it has one that's called image advanced, which you can use for the same purpose, right? Now here we have our menu where we have a simple text field and this radio, and then we have this clonable group. Now guys, if you're wondering what's a clonable group, well, it's the same as a repeater field, right? Maybe you used ACF or Jet Engine in the past. Well, that clonable group is the same as a repeater. We have a subset of fields that you can keep duplicating infinitely, right? This is a clonable group here in Metabox. Now we have another one here in reviews, right? So we have these 3 fields, and we can add as many as we want, right? So we can import all of this, right? All of this, we can import it with the Metabox add-on, and this is what we're gonna do, right? So these two, first bunch actually, are simple text. So they're very straightforward, guys. Let's just drag and drop that, be done with it. Map address, street, country, it's here, state, right, city, and then the neighborhood. Cool. That's very straightforward. Not much to say about that. But here we have some more interesting fields. For example, this opening time field, if I click here, you can see we have this little UI where we can select the time manually, right? But we could also drag and drop a value from here, like so, right? And WP import will import whatever date format you have here. It will translate it to whatever Metabox is using. Now it will do that using the str2time PHP function, right? So this is pretty cool. Now I'm gonna drag and drop the closing hours too, right? Which is the same field. And here we have this open since field, which is a date picker. Now this date picker works pretty much the same as the time picker. You can select a date from here, and all of these 122 restaurants will have the same value. But you can also choose a value from your import file, drag and drop that, and WP import will use the str2time function to translate that value, that format, whatever format you're using, into the format that Metabox uses for their time and date picker fields, right? So let's continue, guys. I have here this rating field, and as I showed you before, we could select a value from here, right? But if I select 5 stars here, that means that all of these 122 restaurants will have 5 stars, which is not true, right? Because some restaurants are very good, but others are, I don't know, kind of suck. So we don't want to give one of those 5 stars, right? Well, we can use XPath here and use a value from our import field. Now we do have a slight issue here, right? So the rating element we have, right, has this format: 5 out of 5, this one is 2 out of 5, this one is 5 out of 5, and so on and so forth, right? So if we try to import this, well, it won't work, because here in metabox, I'm going to show you guys how this rating field actually looks. And here we have the label, which is these stars, and the value, which is this. So if we try to import here 5 out of 5, it won't work, because it's not a value that's created here, right? So what can we do to fix that? Well, we could use a simple PHP function I have ready. So we're going to scroll down to the function editor, right? And I'm going to paste my function here, which again I have ready prior to this video, but you can write your own PHP function. There is really no limit here. So what this function will do is we'll just change values, right? So if we have 5 out of 5, it will return 5. If we have 4 out of 5, it will return 4. And well, you get the idea, right? So I have my function ready. So I'm going to save that, right? And then I'm going to copy this name, the name of my function. Then I'm going to go here. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Now here on the rating, and I'm going to use the function syntax, which is I'm going to open a bracket. I'm going to paste the name of my function. And then I'm going to open a parenthesis. I'm going to drag and drop my rating element right here, close my parenthesis, and close my bracket. Now with this, WPL import will use this function, right, in the rating element. Now I'm going to copy this just to make sure it works. And this is a pretty cool trick you can use to make sure that your functions are working, right? You can paste it in the content area and preview. Cool. So we have here this restaurant that has 5 out of 5, right here. And WPL import is returning 5. Now this one is returning 2 because it's 2 out of 5. So our function is working. Cool. So I'm going to leave this as it was, right? Because now I know my function is working, and I'm going to continue with our import. Now, we have a similar situation here for the cuisine. We could select a value from here, several values actually, but then all of these restaurants will have the same ones, and we don't want that. So I'm going to set this with XPath, and I'm going to drag and drop the cuisine here. Cool. Then same for the dress code, which is here, right here. Cool. Then the chef's name, phone number, and then website here. Cool. Then we have here these galleries. I'm going to drag and drop the value like so. And then we need to see what delimiter is using to separate the different URLs. So for example, we have this first one, right? And then we have this one, and then we have this other one, and all of them are separated with commas. So that's the element we need to use here. Cool. Then I'm going to select the same settings as we did in the images section to look through the media library before importing new images. And I'm going to match that by URL, right? I'm going to import the price range with XPath. And in this case, we do have 2 and 5 and whatever values. So we don't need to use the function we used for the rating, right? Then we have here the average price. Great. Then we have here these recommended dishes, which, as I showed you before, guys, this is a repeater field, right? So we need to choose one of these options to import that data. There is 2 ways we can use to import repeater elements with an Excel file. The first one is the fixed mode, right? So in this fixed mode, we need to have a fixed number of repeating elements. Now, that's the case for these menus, right? Because we have menu name 1, menu description 1, then we have menu 2, menu 3, menu 4, and all of these 122 restaurants only have 4 different recommended dishes. So we can use this fixed mode to get those repeater imported. I'm gonna add 4 new rows here, right? And then I'm gonna drag and drop the values. Here we have the menu name 1, menu description 1, and menu price 1, right? Now let's import the menu name 2, menu description 2, right? And menu price 2. Great. Then let's do the same with the third one. All right. And the last one. All right. So this one is actually 4. All right. Cool. Now with this WPL import, we'll import all 4 different recommended dishes. Now for the reviews though, we have a different kind of repeater, right? For example, we have this review name, review comment, and review rating, and you can see the values are separating with pipes. So this guy right here, Aaron Turner, he wrote this review, right? This review, and he left a 4-star rating. Now this Alison Meyer, the second one, and so on and so forth. But we have here 5 different comments. Now, if I go here to the next record, you can see that we have 3 different reviews in this case, right? Now, all of the different restaurants will have a variable number of comments and names and review ratings and whatnot. So we need to use this variable CSV mode, right? And then we're gonna drag and drop the name here, the comment here, and the rating right here. Now we're gonna make sure that we're using the same delimiter, right? And we're gonna ignore blank fields. Now if I hover on the question mark, it says if the value of the element or column in your file is blank, it will be ignored. Use this option when some records in your file have a different number of repeating elements than others. Now I wanna keep this enabled because this is the case, right? So with this, WPL import will import dynamically all of this data, no matter if the restaurant has only 2 reviews or has 1,000 reviews, it doesn't matter, right? That's the difference between the fixed, right, and the variable modes, right? Hope that's clear, guys, but if you have questions or if you're feeling kind of stuck, in this process, just don't worry about it. Check out the other videos in our channel, check out our docs, or just contact our support team, and we will be more than happy to help you out. Right, now let's continue with the taxonomies. We have here the cuisine, right? Then the booking speed, which is here. And finally, the availability. All right, cool. Now these other restaurants options, I'm gonna leave them as they are because the default values work for me, and we already went through the function editor. Now guys, this is very easily the most powerful feature in WPL import, so you may want to take a look here. Even if you don't know PHP, you can go here to wplimport.com, click on the docs menu, right? And here on the developer section, we have a bunch of code snippets with different case scenarios that you can take advantage of and maybe learn a thing or two about running PHP functions, right? It's pretty cool, guys. Now, all of this is ready, so I'm just gonna continue to step 4. Alright guys, so here on step 4, we need to choose a unique identifier. Now the reason we want to do that is because we want to create 122 different restaurants, right? So WPL import needs a way to tell in those 122 restaurants apart. Because if, for example, WPL import thinks 2 of those restaurants are the same, it won't create 2 different restaurants. It will instead create one and use the second one to update it, right? Now, you can read this text if you want to know more, or you can drag and drop values from here, right? But if you don't want to maybe overthink this too much, just click here on this auto attack button and WPL import will just choose the right one for you. Now I'm gonna go with this name elements. That's good because all of these names are different. All right, and then we have the settings where they are mostly for when you need to rerun this import. Say you deleted some restaurants from your site after you have imported all of this. You want to maybe delete some of them, right? And then you want to rerun this import to update some of the data, but you don't want to create again those restaurants that you already deleted, right? So you disable this option. Or if you don't want to update the restaurants because, I don't know, maybe you changed some of the data and you only want to create those you accidentally deleted or something, you can disable this option and keep this one enabled or whatever. And you can also choose which data to update. I don't know, say you only want to import or update the images, right? So you deselect all of this and keep the images enabled, right? So WPL import gives you a lot of flexibility here, guys. Just read the titles, and if you have doubts, hover on the question mark and you will know what to do. Now, lastly, we have here this option to remove or modify restaurants that are no longer present in this import file. And this is pretty good. Let's say you're receiving this list of restaurants from a provider, right? And well, it changes every single week because maybe some of those restaurants, I don't know, maybe they close their doors or something like that, and they are no longer in this import file. Well, you can decide what to do with the ones that are in your site, right? So if, for example, this Delight Dinner closes tomorrow, well, you don't want that restaurant in your site anymore, right? So you can decide to send that restaurant to the trash, or maybe change the status to draft, or maybe set a custom field that says, for example, status, right? And this status is gonna be closed, right? You have full flexibility here, or you can just go ahead and straight up delete that restaurant and all of the images attached to them, right? It's up to you guys. Now, I'm not gonna do that in this example, but you can check out this video here if you click on this YouTube icon, and you will know a little bit more about this option. Now, finally, we have the scheduling options, and guys, this is pretty cool for when you need to maybe rerun this import on a schedule. Maybe you want to rerun this import on a daily basis or weekly or whatever. Well, you can set that up here with either the automatic scheduling options or cron jobs. That's up to you. And if you want to know more about that, well, same as before, you can check out the other videos on our channel or go to our website at wplimport.com and then click on the docs menu and go nuts there. Now, guys, I believe we are ready here. So I'm gonna click on the continue button. All right. And then this is a brief summary, which says, okay, so this is the file you're gonna use. These are the filters you're using. This is your unique key, and so on and so forth. So all of this is good. So I'm gonna confirm and run this import. Now, guys, this is gonna take a minute or two while WPL import downloads all of the images. So I'm gonna pause the video here and come back when it's ready. All right, so our import is complete. Let's see how our restaurants came in. Now we have 122 restaurants, which is the number we expected. This is great. Let's take a picture in the front end of the site where we have this beautiful website. And there we go. Here are our restaurants. They're looking pretty cool, actually. So let's open this one up, see what's going on here. Here we have our featured image. We have the title. Then we have some fields here, the address, neighborhood, open ad, close ad, price, cuisine, dress code. Here we have our star ratings, which remember, guys, we used a quick PHP function to fix our file there. Then we have the average price, the cuisine, the open scenes field, the description. These two are taxonomies. And this is the gallery, which it's always a good sign to have our images correctly downloaded. All right. Now we have here these recommended dishes, the address map field. Then we have this reviews repeater. So all of this is looking real nice, guys. Let's take a peek here in the restaurant page. We have here our title, description, the different taxonomies and featured image. These address fields are all looking good. This opening, closing, and open scenes field came in okay. Then we have this rating, which remember, guys, we used a quick PHP function here. This worked, so that's great. Then we have the cuisine, these other fields. Then we have the image advanced field, which works as a gallery. Then here in the menu, Here we have our 4 recommended dishes. It's great. Here on the review tab, we have our reviews, and they are populated correctly too. So that's it, guys. There you have it. That's how you import metabox custom fields using an Excel file and WPL import. Now, guys, if you're using Jet Engine or maybe ACF to handle your custom fields, you can import and export those two with WPL import and WPL export. And I don't know, if you want to know more about this and maybe other WordPress stuff like importing or exporting other WordPress data like WooCommerce orders, products, and whatnot, check out the other videos on the channel and check out our website at wplimport.com, and see you next time.